right, hey boys and girls, we're back at another week in the garage, and some parts showed up quicker than I thought they were going to, so I think we are going to dive back into one of the scooters and get that done. So the plan was today was to work on this, but it comes to find out I needed some parts, don't have the parts, so we're waiting on them, so we're going to hop into the scooter again, and that would be, we're going to hop back into the Mad Dog. Still waiting on some parts for the Ruckus build. And once those show up, we'll probably start on that. But before that gets done, this needs to be able to move. So, but I have the parts to do that. So we're going to do that. And what we're going to do this week is we're going to tear into the CVT drive on this, so I can show you guys kind of how it works, kind of walk you through it, and do some, hopefully, some upgrades. And the upgrades we're going to look at is we're going to do a new power link belt. This is, if I understood correctly, this is a longer belt than what's in there currently. And as long as I ordered my parts right, this should be a slightly bigger variator. I think what's in it right now, stock, is a 87 millimeter or 85 millimeter, and that is an 89 millimeter, or at least it should be if I ordered my stuff right. And as we're doing that, I'm going to explain to you guys how the roller weights work and all that. And hopefully, by the time this is all said and done, I don't know if we're going to get to ride it today. We might have to wait a little bit to do that, because it's only like 30 degrees out, so I don't know how well it's going to run in this weather. Hopefully, once we're done with that, we should see a new top speed of, I'm hoping, 40-ish mile an hour. That could be me being hopeful. That could be a possibility. We just got to see what's going to happen with the variator kit and make sure that this variator is in fact bigger than what's in there currently. So, but okay, enough yapping. Let's get the bike over here and start tearing things apart. All right, now that I got you guys set up, I am going to say I can already tell I'm not going to be the first person in this case, which does worry me a little bit, because if I'm not the first one in it, we don't know what's actually done in here. Which means maybe we're getting into it to do mods that are already done, and this is as good as it's going to get, which it shouldn't be. I have a very strong feeling that, where's all the bolts? That whoever did get in this case, besides putting it together with like a third of the fucking bolts, and all of them being loose, didn't actually do any mods. They just got into it to get into it. Maybe check the belt or something. But overall, they didn't really do anything. Ah! So, there we go. Got that off. Now, you're going to look at this and go, well, clearly, you could have put a bigger variator on. Well, and it's going to look that way. But the problem with that is, if you put a bigger variator on, you start encountering right here underneath on the bottom of this. This right here is your starter drive. And you start catching on this. You strip this out and this becomes no good anymore. And, well, it slows your bike down. So, Ghetto Wrench over at the Mini-Me channel had discovered that. So, he saved me the hassle of buying a Polani variator to find that out myself. So, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we don't need to get into the clutch. I don't think we're going to get into the clutch. All we want to do is mess with this side right here. And what we're doing is hopefully, as long as I ordered the right one, we're changing out this variator for one that's slightly bigger, which means we get more top end because this becomes a bigger gear. As these spin, you see right now, on this end, this is very small, and up here it's very big. Now as it spins, this starts to switch, and it'll start to open up this back one, and the belt will start to feed its way in. And then it'll also start coming out farther on this one, because what's going to happen is this right here has got these little rollers inside of it, and these rollers push against here. and cause this, well, push against this plate, which causes this to ride up, which makes this gap in here smaller. And the smaller this gap gets, the more speed you can get out of it. So by changing this, making this bigger, it gives it more area to ride up. By making the belt slightly bigger, it gives it more area or more belt to work with to make those adjustments happen. And we won't bottom out in here before we top out here. Because if you bottom out here before you top out here, it doesn't matter how much gearing you have here, you'll never get all of it. So what you got to do is you got to find that balance of, you don't want to bottom out clear at the bottom of this before you top out here. But you also don't want so much belt that you top out here, but then let's say only get halfway down here because you're still losing gearing. So what we're trying to find is the best setup to get us to the top of this variator pretty much as fast as we can and get us shrunk down here as close to the very bottom of this as we can without actually bottoming it out on the shaft inside there. So the hope is, since we're copying basically someone else's setup, is that we can manage to pull that off without a ton of guesswork. Now, what's going to be the guesswork for us is variator weight sizes. I don't know what's in here exactly, nor do I know exactly what's in this kit without measuring them. I'm seeing it says, I'm seeing 5 and maybe 6 gram weights. Or does it say 9? No, that says 6. It's 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 5.6. All right. So I think this has got 5 and 5.5 gram weights in it, I think. I'm not sure. We have a scale. We'll get the scale out and we'll throw this all together. Figure it out from there. The big thing is we got to figure out what's in this one first. Go off of those sizes, and then we can use these sizes to play with it to get it right for this. So as I have a feeling these are going to be heavier. If I'm hoping it's similar to the Ruckuses where they've got like a 7 or an 8 gram weight in there, and we can drop it to 5s and be good, but we'll see. All right, I got to get tools. All right, let's see here. Here's that off. That off. Now, this is the front half of the variator pulley. Normally on a Ruckus, you would change this out with one from NCY because it's lighter and a little bit taller. But on this bike, this also is a starter gear, so you can't change this out as easily. We are going to leave this as a whole unit because this acts like a fan, pulls air in, kind of keeps this cool. And we kind of want that considering we don't have an open CVD case. So, here's our first sign that someone's been in here. This already has a 788 belt in it, which isn't a bad thing. That's kind of what we want to see. And this might be the stock size belt for this. I can't remember. I thought he said it wasn't. I thought he said this was bigger. And we're seeing we might have an oil leak in here. So that's something we'll look at while we're in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to get this variator out without losing anything. Someone has been in here and played with the variator weights and done a very bad job of it. Someone that was doing something, I don't know what they were doing, but it was not done right. I can tell you that. So that's got to change. I also don't know why that would be in there. That shouldn't be in there. And that collar's stuck. So again, this is all bad. I'm glad we're doing this because if this won't move like it should, then none. Okay, hang on. Now all right, so I just did a bunch of recording, realized you guys can't see anything in it, and it's completely useless information. So we're going to try this again. I got the back plate off. I had to use a pickle fork to get this off. This should slide on and off easy. All of these parts should move freely. Let's start there. So that's problem number one. That's junk, so I don't care that I threw it. Problem number two. It had what looked like a makeshift shim between the variator, the back plate of the variator, and the front part of the variator. I do not know why you would put this there. That makes no sense. It does no good. That's the wrong side for that to be on. So that's junk. Next thing, this slide should slide freely in and out in both directions. It kind of does, but it really doesn't, not like it should. Because how it should act is like this. You see? I'm moving that literally with my pinky just being kind of wedged in the end of it. That's how that should move. This is our new variator, by the way. And then, the next problem I found is I took all the weights out of that variator. There are 2 4-gram weights, 3 5-gram weights, and a 10-gram weight. This is terrible for a variator. You do not want to do this. You want, if you're going to have varying weights within your variator, you only want them to be 2 different sizes, not 3, not 4, not 6. You want them to be 2 different sizes at most, and you want to be every other one because you want the weight dispersed evenly. There is no way to disperse this weight evenly. How we got to the speeds we got is beyond me because this shouldn't have worked at all. Along with this doesn't work, so I don't know how we are gaining any speed with this. It also explains partly why it was accelerating so slow. So the only things we are keeping out of what was on the variator side is, I think we're going to go ahead and keep the belt because the belt is already a 788. The belt is the right size belt, and with it already having some miles on it, it will probably do better than our brand new one. And that's only because of the fact that the sides are already broken a little bit, so this is going to grab better sooner. This in the long run is obviously better because it's new, it's got no miles on it, and it doesn't have any wonkiness that's happened to it because of the variator. But the belt does look okay. It's still good and pliable. Even if this is the original belt to the bike, this bike only has 800 mile on it. So this right here will be fine. Now, we're going to get into what we're putting in it. We're going to put this new back plate in. And this back plate, if I still had the other one in my hand, I'd show you. This back plate has a little bit more ramp to it, which means where the rollers push off of is a bit more extreme than what was on the other one. So we're going to use that. And it's got new slides in it too, which will help. Then, this variator face is, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it is slightly taller than the stock one, and it doesn't have the slide pin issues. So this being overall, I believe this is about 2 millimeter taller, which means when you've got it stacked like that, you're only seeing about a millimeter difference, which is hard to see in person, let alone on camera. We're going to use this. This will gain us some speed, along with we're going to throw in a full set of 5-gram rollers. So that way it's nice, it's balanced, it's a good starting point. That's what I run in my other 50cc stuff is 5 grams. It works well for my weight. And hopefully with this setup, we should see better performance than what we've seen so far. Because so far, the performance we've seen was surprisingly good for what it was. Somehow, even with that disaster of a CVT, this was still hitting roughly what it should have stock. So I'm hoping with this, we start seeing that 40 plus number. So at least that is the goal. Now to put these in, the upside is there's not really a wrong way to put rollers in because they really only fit in one way. And that is voila, just like that. We'll go ahead and slide the backing plate on. See how this works. To change the gearing is this back plate with centrifugal force will start throwing those rollers out, and it'll push that back plate away from the. It'll push this drive plate away from the backing plate, and as it does that, this area, the belt can no longer fit down here, and it has to ride up. So that's how these work, and that's how they make power. Or not power, how they make speed, I guess. It's a better way to say it. So we'll go ahead and get that put on. And from there, we'll get the belt untrapped from you guys. That's the new belt. That wasn't even the one I wanted. Dang it. We'll get the belt. Now I'm just kicking everything. So, get the belt put back on. Get out of the way. You're being stupid. Come on. Get back in your home. Back in your home. So get in your home. There we go. Thank you. See if we can get this to go down inside a little bit here. Because that'll make life a little bit easier. Come on. Okay. I'm done asking. Open up a little bit. Come on. Work with me here. We're on camera. Play nice. I will sell you. Come on. Hang on. There we go. Belt's on. I had to remind it that it's a paid actor and it needed to do its job. Now that we got the belt back on, we're going to go ahead and get the drive face on and the gear that the kickstart hooks into. Our washer and the nut. Now, as we go to tighten this down, we're going to make sure that we don't just ugga-dugga it fully in place the first shot, and make sure that that's fully seating, and that's fully seating. All right, now we can ugga-dugga her down. All right, there we go. That is all good. Now, for this first drive, I think what we're going to do here is try to make sure that nothing is going to catch on the old the old starter there. Well, no, because we need to. Never mind. We're not doing it that way because then we'll just lose this gear. So, no, we're going to have to put everything back together. Duh. Don't mind me. We don't have an ankle biter, so we don't have things to hold things together. So, we're going to go ahead and get the cover put back on and kind of hope that we have all this right. So, here's the inside. This right here is how the kickstart works. This catches on this little washer here, and it's what spins the bike over when you trying to do everything. Unfortunately, we ripped this gasket, which is okay because it looks like 2/3 of that gasket's missing anyway. So cool. I love fixing other people's junk, or junk other people's worked on, I guess I should say, because this is my junk now. So yep, that wants to work. So since that's working, this one needs to go in here. Where is... Aha, there it is. Where do be this? There it be. Okay, we're not going to hammer it down until we have a couple other bolts in place too. So that's not... That might need to be a longer one. Is that a longer one? There we go. Need that one. that one, that one, that one. Where's another one? Up here. One there. And one back here. So we're missing, I think, like 4 of the bolts. But that should be okay. There we go. Now it's all sealed up. Let's get the garage door open and try getting this thing outside and see how it does. What did I do to the mount? All right, there we go. All right, so sorry about that, guys. So we want to just say a few things right here, right off the bat. I don't know how the audio is going to be on this. I don't know how the bike's going to do. I look stupid in this helmet. I need a full face one. It is cold. Did I mention I don't know how this bike's going to do? I think that's enough excuses. Let's go give this a shot. So, I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to hear me. We're going to try this out and see. And this tells you how cold it is. There's snow on the ground. So I'm hoping this thing will rev out. We're going to find out. So, here we go. We might be slower than we were before. Definitely feeling slower. I might have the roller weights all wrong. Whether that's too big or too small, I don't know. We're doing 25. Yeah, I think I need heavier roller weights. Either that or it's just that cold. I mean, just over 8 grand, I'm only doing 26. Come on, Mike, just go. We'll get it warmed up a little bit and see if it gets better. I'm not holding my breath though. But it's already very high. We should be going faster. It could be that it's cold. We'll find out. We're going to turn down the side street though. I did up the idle a little bit. That little stretch we only hit 26. I want to get off the main road, that's all the faster we can go. That felt sketchy as shit. Alright. We're getting speed a little bit quicker this time. 27. I think partly it's just too cold. 29. 30. 31. We're revving higher than we were. 32. Yeah, I think we need to jump to a higher roller possibly. We seem to be maxed out at 32. You know, I don't remember what weights Mini-Me said he used. I swear he said he used like 2 or 4 grand weights. But clearly, I can't get away with that. 33, 4. We may just need to wait for a warmer day. I know the ruckuses also struggle when it's this cold. So that could be a big part of it too. I know I'm already a popsicle. Really need to check the air pressure in these tires too. I keep forgetting to do that. So, yeah, it feels like it's struggling a little bit, but I don't feel like that's because I got the roller weights too heavy. I think it's the cold, and it's riding just like the ruckus did the other day. I just don't think it likes the cold air. So, I could try throwing another set of rollers in it, but I don't know if it's going to do us any good. Oh, if you guys can hear me, this was a terrible idea. I'm dying for you just so we're all on the same page. Oh, I don't know if that was long enough to tell us anything if we take the variator back apart or not, but I can tell you what it was cold. What it was enough to tell me that was enough to freeze my giblets off. Holy shit, that was cold. I think that was only like a mile. If it was even a mile. Whew. It's cold out today. I said, I'm pretty sure. Let's look at the phone. Look at the phone. Oh, come on, phone. Get to the message. Nah, don't care about any of that. Yeah, it's 28 degrees. Open that up. Yep. Oh, my bad. Sorry. 27 degrees. The other day when we were riding it and we were hitting 35 still, or just shy of 35, it was 47 degrees. So it was 20 degrees warmer than it is right now. And I know with these, temperature can play a big role in how well it wants to run. Because the colder the air is, the denser the air is. And these things, with especially these two, kind of that one too, maybe probably this one, the colder the air is, the denser the air is, the more fuel that there needs to be to feed that air. Well, the problem is, these don't like getting more air than they're supposed to. So they have to be rejetted for that extra air. So when your air density is thicker because it's colder, so it's getting more, it doesn't like it. It makes it run lean, and they don't like running lean. So that could be part of what we're fighting today, is that 20-degree difference could be making a big difference in performance, as well as, I mean, it's going to perform better, hopefully, fingers crossed, on a 60, 70-degree day than what it does today on a 27-degree day. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try popping that variator open, see what we can see if that was enough to give us any kind of markings on the variator. I don't know if it was yet. And we're going to go and check the air pressure in these tires. Air pressure plays a big thing too. 20 psi of air pressure in your tire will not go as fast as 40 psi. Especially like these. If that drops that rear tire, I leave that rear tire at 40 psi. If that tire drops to 35 psi, I lose 3 miles an hour. That's how sensitive these things are when you're chasing numbers to just the numbers dropping off. So you've got to keep things in that, like, where they need to be. So, because one day this will be a 50 mile an hour bike with me on it. The next day, a little bit of a headwind and drop 5 degrees in temp, and now it's a 45 mile an hour bike. So they can be very temperamental. And I've heard these are just as temperamental about being consistent as what these ones are. And these ones are actually relatively consistent until you start throwing variables at them that they don't like. So, best way to say it at this point, if you want more consistency in how fast you can go all the time, have a bigger engine. 50 cc's will limit you no matter what you're doing. These, you can jump to a 90 or 100 cc big bore kit and it'll help. You can't really do that on the Ruckuses. They don't know what makes a big bore kit, or someone did, but they really didn't do a lot. Not worthwhile on them. Kind of worthwhile on these, but why would you do it when you can just get a 150 cc motor and it runs with all the same wiring? Or, start with a 150 cc motor and throw a big bore kit in that, and then you got almost a 200 cc. So, which will again get you much farther, much faster. So, yeah. All right, I'm rambling. Let's get the CVT open again, see what's going on. All right, so it may be kind of hard to tell on camera, but it looks like we're only making it to about here, maybe just a touch higher on this pulley. So now I gotta look it up to remember. I believe this means that the bike can't make enough RPM to throw it up higher, which means our roller weights may be too heavy and we may need to go down a little bit. I think that's what makes sense. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave 3 of the 5s in and throw 3 4s in, and I'll show you how to do that. Here are my big case of things. See everything I got here. I've got it all labeled out. I think these right here were 3s, 4s, 4.5s, 5s, 5.5, 6s, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then I got 5 sliders. I don't like sliders. That's why those aren't in anything. So what I think we're going to do here is, instead of throwing half 4s and half 5s in, because I forgot we have 4.5s, I think we're just going to throw the 4.5s in. I'll show you how to make 4.5 with 4s and 5s, but I think ultimately we're just going to throw these in and see what happens. So I'm going to take 3 of our 4s here. So we got 3 of the 4s. Right now we have all 5s in here. We're going to go ahead and take this one, this one. Can't get a hold of it. And this one out. Now, as you can see, every other hole now is open. So we're going to drop a 4, a 4, and a 4. Now, that will keep the variator balanced and everything working appropriately. And will give you the same overall weight as running 4.5 gram rollers the whole way through. Now, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the 4.5 gram roller since I have them. But this would net us just about the same result. Matter of fact, it could maybe potentially net us a better result. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the other setup because I know the brand of my 4.5 gram rollers. I don't necessarily know the brand of these. And I know how good the brand of my 4.5s work. They were just too low for the ruckuses. They might be fine in here. All right. So I just tried to take it for another test ride. And it kind of confirmed what I already thought. I got less than a block down the road. It doesn't want to rev. It's just too cold. It'll sit here and rev out kind of fine at idle. But it gets almost I don't want to say it doesn't bog. It just won't RPM. And as I let off of the throttle to cut out air, it wants to go. So I'm getting too much air and it's leaning the bike out. It's too cold. The weather's too dense. It is what it is. I think I got you guys looking just a wee bit too high there. There we go. So it's just too cold today for the bike. That's all there is to it. And it'd be that way for any of them. It's not just because this is a clone that it's too cold. It's kind of just too cold in general. I feel weird without a hat. Hang on. There we go. Now I feel more normal. So I think we're going to call this video here just because, well, I want to see how this new mic setup sounds when I'm doing everything. This may or may not be the last time you see this mic setup. I don't know. You'll see it for at least part of a video on this because I've already started a video on this. But this is at least a good, here's how you install a new variator. Here's the things to look for when you're installing a new variator. And here's the things to look at when you're checking your old variator. So, I mean, it's because the variator on this was a mess. So the fact that we're not really hitting any more speed than we were before really surprises me because that whole setup was garbage. I don't know how it worked. The only thing I can come up with is the variator was already stuck that far out. And since the bike wasn't turning enough RPMs to make the clutch engage, it was working. But yeah, it just, that was a mess. That shouldn't, that was terrible. So, but next time you guys see it, we'll have a warmer day. Because I'm just, me trying to tune this thing on this cold of a day just doesn't work. We will go through on how to actually tune your variator, get more speed out of your bike, especially when it already seems like maybe it's down on speed from where it should be versus where it could be. And we will get this thing to be over 35 mile an hour with this setup. There's no reason it shouldn't be able to hit over 35 mile an hour with the variator that's in it and the belt that's on it and everything else. I am also going to take some time and go back through myself and rewatch some of Ghetto Wrench's Mini-Me videos again and see what variator weights he was using. Because you can base your tuning off of someone else's, but weight and weather and all that plays a lot into it as well. So you can at least get a ballpark idea. If he's really running 3 and 4 gram weights, like I think he said in his one video, then it may be that maybe I need to run a straight 3 gram setup, or maybe I need to run a straight 4 gram setup for my size and altitude and air density and all that. Because I know he's like down in Florida somewhere, so his weather and air density is way different than mine. But yeah, now I'm rambling again. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. There will be more on this bike. Because I think this one may finally be the one I get the wife to ride. We'll see. I'm going to keep saying it till she just does it. Because she's going to get tired of hearing me say it, and she's just going to do it once, go, I hate this, don't ever ask me again. But she'll try it. That's the key. So, all right. So until next time, everyone be safe, have fun, enjoy your hobbies. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.